couple of videos ago, I went over the level 2 toolbox deck, and there's many decks that this can work with. For example, this episode's deck, Melffy, the level 2 beast toolbox deck. They're all about using their beast monsters to support themselves. Let's go over the cards. All of the cards are level 2 beast earth monsters, or at least the main deck monsters. There's 1 normal monster, 6 effect monsters, 3 spells, 1 trap, 3 XC monsters, and 1 synchro. The normal monster is irrelevant, has no effect, obviously. Now let's go over a few effects all the Melffy monsters have in common. Now, they all have the effect of, during your end phase, you can special summon this card from your hand. And they also have the effect of your opponent normal special summons a monster except during the damage step, or if a opponent's monster targets this card for an attack, you can return this card to your hand. Then they each have their own unique part of the effect. We're going to start with Melffy Kitty, whose unique part of the effect is you can add 1 beast monster from your deck to your hand except Melffy Kitty. Alright, so this is we search it for any beast monster. It does not matter what level it is. It does not matter its attribute. It does not matter its attack. It does not matter if it's a Melffy card. Any beast you want, as long as it's not a beast warrior or winged beast, because those don't count. There's a card that works well with this is Melffy Puppy, who makes it so, has all the Melffy effects, and its unique part of the effect is special summon 1 level 2 or lower beast monster from your deck except Melffy Puppy. So you get to go into any level 2 or lower beast monster you want, right to your field, effortlessly. So it's similar to Kitty, but, as I said, Kitty can get you a lot more cards. At least, the card pool it can get to is a lot more open. Unlike Puppy, who is a lot smaller card pool, but gets into your field. Next is Melffy Pony, whose unique part of the effect lets you add any level 2 or lower beast monster from your graveyard to your hand except Melffy Pony. So, it's similar to how this thing has a limited card pool. This also has a limited card pool. Adding anything you want from your graveyard to your hand. Then we have Melffy Funny, whose unique part of the effect is special summon 1 beast monster from your hand, except Melffy Funny. So we can right now, between those 4 monsters, divide them into 2 categories. The ones that special summon and the ones that add. We can take Funny and Puppy as ones that special summon, and Kitty and Pony as the ones that add to the hand. The deck right now seems to just be get a bunch of resources. And you can get into some pretty interesting resource loops. If you eventually have all your cards in the graveyard, well, luckily you have Melffy Funny that can get all those cards back. If you have all the cards stuck in your hand, you've got Melffy Pony. If you need to get them out to your hand at all, you got Kitty for that. Or if you want to just get them to the field, you got Pony. But you might have noticed that's only 4. I said there is 6 effect monsters. Well, one of the newer ones is Melffy Wally, who has all of the normal effects, but its unique part of the effect is special summon 2 Melffy monsters from your deck with different names from each other, except Melffy Wally. So, if I only had Melffy Wally in my hand, ended my turn, special summon my field, my opponent tried to summon a monster, I add Melffy Wally to hand, then I immediately get Melffy Puppy and Melffy Kitty. Then I use both of those, do whatever I want with them, and I got so many more resources to play with. This card, unlike over other Melffys, is not generic. It's very specific, how it can only work with our Melffys. Now here's something I should mention. All of our effects are once per turn. Now, if we use the summon from hand, we cannot summon more than 1 copy of it with that effect per turn. If we add to hand, we cannot return it to the hand by our opponent summoning more than once per turn. And all of our monsters' attack and defense, except for the normal monster, add up to 400. 400 plus 0, 400. 300 plus 100, 400. 200 plus 200, 400. 100 plus 300, 400. 0 plus 400, 400. 300 plus 100, 400. And we do have this one last monster who breaks some of our rules. First off, it's a water monster. And like I said, most of all of our other monsters, they are Earth. But what makes this card unique? It's a tuner to start with, and it does not have the Melffy effects. It has two effects, which each have their own separate hard ones per turn. I'm going to go over the second one first, because it's much easier. It lets you, during your end phase, if this card is in your graveyard, you can target one beast exceeds monster you control, attach this card to it as material. Keep that in mind. During your end phase, only your end phase, if this is in the graveyard, you would attach it to your monster. Its other effect is if a face-up beast monster you control was returned to the hand at this turn, except Melffy Penny, quick effect. You can special summon this card from your hand. Then, immediately after this effect resolves, synchro summon one synchro monster using only this card you control and Melffy monsters in your hand. So effectively, we can quick sync. Unfortunately, there's a few flaws with this effect. First off, I'm going to go over the good things. It does not say if a Melffy monster is returned to your hand. So, for example, if we had Alpha the Master of Beasts and return it to our hand by its own effect, we get to summon this to our field and go for a synchro summon. Here is where a few flaws come in. Because we are not limited to what synchro monsters we are allowed to summon. It can be non-Melffy synchro monsters or Melffy synchro monsters. Unfortunately, they have to be an even level, as we can only use Melffy monsters. And all of them are, well, I already mentioned, they're all level 2. We can go into 4, we can go into 6, we can go to 8, we can go to 10, and we can go to 12. It doesn't seem like that much of a bad thing, but it's something to very much keep in mind. And because it's using stuff from our hand, and normally with our Melffy monsters, what we do like to have is to build up a bunch of resources, and then slowly summon our monsters next turn, so we can slowly get more resources and more resources. This gets all those resources out of our hand. And it has to be the Melffy monsters in our hand. But it does not have to be a card we returned. We could summon, for example, Melffy Kitty. Our opponent summons a monster, we return Melffy Kitty to our hand. This is during our opponent's turn, by the way. We activate the effect of Penny, and now Penny is summoned to our field. We'll use the Kitty and Penny to go into a new monster. But before we get into those, I'm going to go into the spell cards. We have Melffy Tag, the quick play spell card that lets you target a Melffy in your graveyard, special summon it. If this is a hard ones per turn. So it's a quick effect hard ones per turn monster reborn for only Melffy monsters. Not bad. It has no drawback, by the way, except that when you target the monster, your opponent's now going to respond. So let's say they had Bestials. Nope, all of our monsters are Earth. What if they decide to use these Seiju cards? And nope, most of those aren't getting played anymore. Yeah, you're probably fine. We have Melffy Hide and Seek, the continuous spell card that makes it so. The first time each beast monster you control would be destroyed by card effect. It is not destroyed. So, if our opponent would say like Gekias, we can say no. And each beast monster does not have to be a Melffy monster, it does not have to be a non-Melffy monster, does not care if it's a Synchron, does not care if it's Xyz, does not care if it's Fusion, anything. There's another effect where you can target 3 beast monsters with different names in your graveyard, shuffle them into your deck, and draw 1 card. You can only use that effect once per turn. So we can eventually, our Melffy monsters can start running low. We take all those, shove them into our deck, and then draw a card. We get back resources for free. And because we have really good ways to get cards out to our hand and field, or our deck, pretty much just lose nothing. Now, Melffy Staring Contest, another continuous spell card. You can reveal 1 beast monster in your hand. Semicolon, add 1 Melffy monster with a different name from your deck or graveyard to your hand, and place the revealed monster on the bottom of your deck. So we reveal any beast monster, just not be a Melffy monster, and then we add whatever Melffy we want to our hand. But we put the monster we revealed on the bottom of our deck. If our opponent somehow stopped this effect from completely resolving, our card is not put back to the bottom of our deck, so we just gave our opponent hand knowledge. It usually won't come up, but it might. And because if you do reveal a Melffy monster, you cannot add the same kind of card you just revealed. I don't know why you would want to do that, but you can't. Its other effect is, well, that effect, its next effect is, this is a hard once per turn. But its actual next effect is, at the start of your opponent's battle phase, you can reveal any number of Melffy monsters in your hand, and keep them revealed during this battle phase only. Your opponent's monsters they control lose attack equal to the combined attack and defense of all revealed monsters, but by this effect. So, effectively, what we are doing is we can just start revealing our entire hand, assuming we have tons of Melffys in hand, and all of our opponent's monsters lose 400 for every Melffy we want to reveal. As I mentioned, all of our Melffys have a total of 400 stats, except this one. There's a reason why I mentioned that. But this isn't the last card in our main deck. We also have the normal trap card that lets us dispatch any number of materials from a Beast Xyz monster we control, then target up to that many cards in our opponent's control, return them to the hand. Also, all Beast Xyz monsters we control gain 500 attack for every material dispatch to activate this effect until the end of the turn. Now, nowhere in that effect does it mention Melffy. So, we can use a Melffy Xyz, a non-Melffy Xyz, as long as it's a beast. Let me just show you the list of Beast Xyz, shall I? This is it. There's not that many available, but this is it. I guess we could like Cat Shark, who for some reason is an Aqua. And this card lets us return a bunch of our opponent's card to the hand. So, at worst, assuming that we're not counting dispatching Xyz materials as a losing card advantage, at worst, it's a card neutral. At best, we're going to get a lot of stuff out of this. It's really hard to tell what you actually get. Maybe it's a most Xyz monster dealing 2. So I guess you can say it could be a +1. And all of your monsters gain 1000 attack. Not bad. Of course, there's only 5 monsters allowed on your opponent's side of the field. Plus, your opponent can have 5 spell and trap cards. They could have a field spell card, so that now equals 11. Then they could have cards in the left and right extra monster zone if they somehow made an extra link. So be 11, be 13. So if we somehow add 13 material on a Beast Xyz monster we control, we can dispatch it, every single one of those materials, and then return all of our opponent's cards to the hand. But don't worry, we will end up gaining 6,500 attack out of it. Yeah, well, might as well move on to the rest of the monsters. We're gonna start with Melffy Mummy. Damn, the Milfs have mums? Which takes 2 or more beast monsters. Once per turn, quick effect, you can attach 1 beast monster from your hand or face-up field to this card as material. This card gains effects based on the number of materials attached to it. So you have like a Rongo Bongo kind of thing. Can't be destroyed by battle with 3 or more. You take no battle damage with 4 or more. And when an attack is declared, including this card and the attack position monster, you can inflict damage to your opponent equal to the attack position monster's attack. So you can attack this into one of your opponent's monsters. You take no damage. This monster is not destroyed. Instead, your opponent takes all the damage of your opponent's monster's attack. Not the amount of damage you would take, the damage your opponent's monster's attack. There is a difference by 1,000 points. Which is interesting. we got ways to attach cards, so at best, if we use its effect, it would take 3 on it. We can go 3 for summoning it, then during our turn we can attach 1, and then during our opponent's turn we can attach 1 for a lame battle trick. Really? That it? That's all we got? Okay. What about the Joyous Melffy? This thing has to be good. 2 or more level 2 beast monsters. You can just attach 1 exceeds material from this card. Your Melffy monsters and attack directly this turn. Ah, sweet. You detach material and all of our monsters can attack, even though they only have like 300 attack, maybe 400 attack. This thing's the most at 2,000. We don't got a way to increase our monster's attack except by this card, and we're probably going to be disattaching a bunch of materials where this thing can't attack directly. Its next effect means so during your opponent's turn, quick effect, you can target 1 beast exceeds monster you control. Semicolon. Return that monster to the extra deck. Then special summon. Then you can special summon level 2 or lower beast monsters from your graveyard up to the number of materials that monster had. You don't use that effect once per turn, by the way. So, what's effectively this effect doing? Well, we can take one of our exceed monsters and summon all the materials underneath it. Because when it's returned to the extra deck, all of the materials end up in the graveyard somehow. So, I guess we can dodge some like targeted negation, but that's all we got. Or if we just wanted to spam the field with a bunch of monsters for some reason, I guess we can do that as well. But we don't have any good Xyz monsters that work for this, right? Well, also, it's any beast Xyz monster, so it's any of these we want. Yep, because these are all very much worth it. And most of these, we can't even summon our deck. This one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. Is that, yep, that's it. Only those ones are actually the level 2s. Takes level 2 monsters. And the last one is Melffy of the Forest. Takes 2 level 2 monsters. It does not care if the beast, does not care about anything. You just attach 1 material from this card. Add any Melffy card from your deck to our hand. It can be any one of our main deck. Does not have to be a monster, does not have to be a spell, does not have to be a trap. If another face-up Melffy monster you control is returned to the hand, except during the damage step, you can target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls. It can't attack. Also, its effects are indicated while facing. You can only use each effect once per turn. So we found actually a good monster, one that can let us get rid of our opponent's cards effectively. It's even worse than getting rid of a card, because it just clogs up the monster ends, assuming they're not going to end up using it for a summon of some kind. But most decks these days, if you just give your opponent a monster that's like useless, they're just going to use it for something. And we do have this Merry Melffy, which is generic materials for a level 4 tuner, synchro monster. It's not a tuner. You just need a tuner and any non-tuner. You can use more than one non-tuner. But how you're probably going to be summoning this is off of Penny's effect, which means you're going to use it and a non-it Melffy from your hand. So if it's special summoned, you can target 1 face-up. You can target a face-up monster on the field, return that to the hand. So we actually have a reason to summon this during our opponent's turn. And it's special summoned, not synchro summoned. Keep that in mind. And it would return our opponent's card to the hand, which might be better than blanking their card? Who knows? If your opponent normal or special summons a monster, except during the damage step, or if an opponent's monster targets this card for an attack, we have the Melffy effect. You can turn this card to the extra deck, then you can special summon 1 Melffy Xyz monster from your extra deck. You can only use each effect once per turn. So we can put this back in our extra deck and just get out one of these monsters. Which one do we want? Well, we probably don't want this one because it doesn't come with any materials. We have to build up our own materials. Wait a minute. I remember this card? It lets you during your end phase attach it to one of your Xyz monsters, which is super useful. Okay, what about Joyous Melffy? Who makes it so we can detach nope, that affected detach materials is not going to be useful. Oh, we can put back one of our Xyz monsters, but it won't have any, this card won't have any materials under it, so we can use a different Xyz monster. Okay. What about Melffy the Force? Nope. Its first effect needs materials. Its second effect is, I guess, is what we're going to be using. You summon Melffy of the Forest. We assume just have another Melffy on the field. We turn that to the hand. And then this card activates, just getting rid of our opponent's monsters. Effectively, this card gets rid of a card, this one gets rid of a card, and assumingly you can, it would say you had Pony, that one can also get rid of a card, sort of. So, what is this deck really going to do? Get a lot of resources and hope to slightly control your opponent's game plan? Yes, actually that's exactly what they do. They do not work in the battle phase because they don't have enough attack power. So, yeah. Should you run this in Sprite? No. I remember a quote, and I think it was by the Kelly effect. If one of you want to find it, tell me in the comments. He said something like, if you want to put a good deck into a bad deck, just don't play the bad deck, just play the good deck. It's not an exact quote, I don't actually remember his exact wording, but yeah, if I'm trying to make Melffy good by putting into Sprite, I'm not really playing Melffy Sprite, I'm just playing Sprite, but with worse cards. Why would I, when I can just play Runic cards instead? But if you like this video, why not, I don't know, draw that subscribe button, leave a comment of whatever else you want to see.